Here's an update for the border crossings of Gaza. For context, there's 7 different border crossings that have been historically important for Gazans. They're all labeled out in the description of this TikTok where they're located at and their current status. Many of them have been closed since 2007, 2008. I'm not going to be talking about them in this TikTok. They're just in the description. I'm just going to focus on the Rafah border crossing and 2 other border crossings in this video. The first border crossing I want to talk to you about is the Rafah border crossing. This is the border crossing that so many Palestinians were using prior to May 7th to evacuate to safety into Egypt, okay? This is a border crossing that is controlled by the Hala Consulting and Tourism Services Agency. They are the company that was charging Palestinians and is charging Palestinians $5,000 per adult and $2,500 per child. They're profiting like $2 million every single day that the border crossing was open. That's how much money they were making about. Back in early May, Israeli ground forces entered Rafah and basically took over the city, and that included the border crossing, and they have since destroyed the departure hall. It's completely burned, rendering it useless for the foreseeable future. And the reason why this border crossing was so significant is because it wasn't controlled by Israeli occupying forces. Israeli forces can just detain Palestinians for no reason whatsoever and hold them for, I believe it's up to 6 months. I might get that time frame a little bit wrong. I know it's around that time. And then they can renew that detainee status indefinitely. Imagine crossing through a border controlled by Israeli forces where they could literally just pull you aside and detain you. And so many Palestinians who are getting detained are returning to Gaza with organs missing, like on their deathbeds, right? Amputees, it's horrible. Just to recap, Rafah border crossing closed since May 7th, rendered useless for now. The next border crossing is the Erez border crossing. This is way in the north of Gaza. Reports state that it's been open since early May, and very intermittently letting aid into Gaza. But so many accounts from Palestinians say that the north is just starving. And we've seen so many news articles and things saying that the north is starving. So even if this border crossing is open intermittently, hardly any aid is going in. So that's the Erez border crossing. The third and final border crossing is the Kerem Shalom border crossing, which is in southern Gaza Strip. This is a border crossing that Israel very recently, on June 23rd, said, hey, from the hours of 0500 to 1600 every day, we're going to pause our assault and our attack here to let aid go in. But since June 23rd, there have been attacks. There's been artillery dropped in this area, which makes it obviously very, very dangerous for humanitarian people, vehicles to go into Gaza. The other component to think about in all this is that whenever aid is let into Gaza, it's very dangerous for both the aid workers and for Palestinians because it's just absolute chaos. It's a very, very dangerous situation because Palestinians don't know the next time that they're going to get aid. A lot of aid workers and humanitarian organizations are really reluctant to bring vehicles and themselves into Gaza for that reason, on top of the Israeli occupying force not keeping the word and saying this is a safe zone. So there's a lot of layers to this, right? Because this video is already so long, I'm going to make a separate video talking about whenever I personally believe that a border is going to be open. I'm going to give you some information about why I believe that in a following video that will be up on my profile shortly.